Push harder and the world slips. Ease your grip one notch and watch it return. Most of your fatigue isn't from work, it's from gripping people, timing, and outcomes that refuse to obey force. A partner's mood, a friend's distance, a family habit, the weather inside your own chest. Today, we flip the usual rulebook. We won't push life, we'll pilot it. You'll get 10 clear parts, practical and direct. Each one gives you a move you can use the same day, in real places, at the table, on a call, in traffic, in the quiet of your room. Before we begin, choose one knot in your life. Don't say it, hold it. A conversation you keep rehearsing, a silence that grew too long, a plan that will not cooperate. Keep that knot in your palm as we move. Here's the promise. We trade force for finer control. We land in the present instead of time traveling through worry. We treat change as oxygen, acceptance as strategy, silence as protection, and small joys as fuel. We recalibrate pressure with gratitude, and we choose solitude not to hide, but to tune our instrument so company sounds better. Somewhere after the midpoint, something uniquely useful will arrive. Stay open. This is not passivity, it is precision. Less drag, more glide. Less noise, more signal. Less proving, more presence. If you're ready, say it quietly to yourself. No forcing today. And when a line fits your life, don't just nod. Use it. If this already eased your grip, tap like and hit subscribe so this kind of calm knows where to find you. 1. Live here, not elsewhere. You keep trying to live 3 lives at once. The memory you'd fix, the future you'd force, and the room you're actually in. No wonder you're tired. Peace isn't a place you visit, it's a position of attention you hold. Seneca put it plainly, life is very short and anxious for those who forget the past, neglect the present, and fear the future. Your minutes aren't the problem, scattering them is. Picture a simple table at home. Someone you love is telling a story you've already heard. Your face is here. Your mind has a boarding pass. It flies to bills, messages, a memory that still stings. Try something different. Land. Notice the way their hands draw shapes. Notice the tiny scratch on the bowl. Taste the lemon in the water. Let it anchor you here. Presence isn't soft, it's discipline. It's refusing to abandon the only moment that can love you back. You don't need a better tomorrow to feel better today. You need a cleaner now. When the urge to drift arrives, make it physical. Touch one object near you and study it with 3 senses. Describe it silently. Hear the fork against the plate, the small air between syllables when they speak. Name one thing in this exact room you'd miss if it vanished tomorrow. Pause once as if you're signing for a delivery called This Moment. I once sat through dinner while my attention left a forwarding address to my inbox. I nodded perfectly and remembered nothing. 60 honest seconds of prudence would have saved the evening. Keep it simple. Stop looking past the moment. Look closer at what's here. Stop looking past the moment. Look closer at what's here. The mind loves to wander. Train it like a friendly dog. It can explore the yard, but it sits when you call its name. 2 parts from now, something different arrives. Stay open. What would change in your house tonight if you landed for 5 unbroken minutes? No fixing, no future, just the people, the sounds, the quiet pause you already hold. 2. Respect impermanence. You don't lose people and seasons because you're careless. You lose them because that's how life moves. The calendar sheds its days like a tree lets go of leaves, on time, without drama, making room for new green. Marcus Aurelius kept it simple. The universe is change. Life is opinion. Everything shifts. Your interpretation decides your experience. A friend who once phoned nightly now replies with quiet gaps. A parent who seemed made of granite starts repeating the same childhood memory at lunch. A partner's laughter changes shape after a hard year. You can grab, interrogate, press for the old rhythm, and watch it crack. Or you can make space for who they are today and meet them there. It isn't cold to adapt. It's loving to update your map. Clinging is not closeness. Clinging is fear in a costume. Real closeness breathes. Picture an ice cube in your fist. The tighter you squeeze to save it, the faster it escapes you. Open the hand. Let the warmth and air do what they must. You'll still lose the cube, but you'll gain a palm that isn't burned by your own insistence. Impermanence is not the enemy of love. It's the teacher of attention. Because you know dinner's end, you notice the way the light sits on a cheekbone and the sound of a spoon against porcelain. Because you know summer's leave, you let a long walk go 10 minutes further. Because you know friendships change, you say the fuller sentence now instead of saving it for a perfect later that never writes back. Stop freezing people in the past. Meet who they are today. A living person does not belong behind glass. Invite the current version into the room and introduce them to the current you. There's a quiet kind of strength in letting a chapter finish without graffiti. No grand speeches, no courtroom in your head, just a clean page and a pen that still works. Ask your heart one honest question. What are you gripping today that's already trying to become something else? And who would you be if you let it? Stay with me. Something small and unexpected is coming, and you'll want it in your pocket. 3. Acceptance equals power management. You are not here to win every battle. You are here to choose the ones that answer to you. Acceptance is not folding. It is reallocating force from fantasies to levers. Marcus Aurelius again. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The event isn't the pain. Your judgment is, update it and you reclaim your energy. The city changes the rules, the queue at the office crawls, the algorithm shifts the goalposts again. You can storm at the ocean, or you can move your chair higher on the sand. One posture feeds your anger, the other feeds your results. Tom Hanks once shared a line that steadies him in winds and storms. This too shall pass. Acceptance shrinks the noise so you can act where action still matters. Picture 2 toolboxes. One only has hammers, should, fair, they owe me. You can swing them all day and nothing changes. The other has wrenches, adjust, boundary, next step. They aren't flashy, but they actually fix things. Acceptance starts with right-sizing the fight. If the weather cancels the picnic, relocate it to the living room and make the rain part of the soundtrack. If a friend goes quiet, match the reality of the rhythm, then send one clear invitation without an invoice for attention. If prices rise, edit the basket this week and build a smarter plan next week. Small, immediate, controllable moves. Precision over protest. There is a quiet relief in refusing to wrestle statues. You do not need another speech in your head. You need a single decision your feet can obey. Picture a crosswind on a long road. You do not argue with wind. You lean into it and keep the line. Calm is not the absence of force. It is force that learned where to go. Ask yourself without drama, where am I pouring effort into what will not move? And what would happen if I poured it into what will? Tell me in the comments, where will you trade should for next step today? 4. Let go or carry it. Some weights don't clank, they whisper. A grudge in your pocket, an identity you've outgrown, a promise that no longer fits but still lives on your keychain. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. Refuse to let it land in your identity, and the wound loses its shape. After the person I loved most in my 30s and I broke up, my phone still whispered anniversary at noon each year. I deleted the recurring event and went for a slow walk. The day turned back into just a day, and my chest had room again. And sometimes freedom arrives disguised as an empty calendar. Holding on too tightly isn't love. It's fear pretending to protect you. True closeness has room to breathe. Try holding water in your hand. The tighter the fist, the faster it slips away. You are a house. Not everyone gets keys. Some people only need the porch, others the garden gate. A few may enter the kitchen. Almost none sleep in the room where you keep your peace. If you've given a hallway pass to someone who keeps knocking pictures off your walls, reclaim the pass. You're not cruel. You're finally being the homeowner. There's dignity in a clean ending. No courtroom in your head. No last speech trying to invoice someone for understanding they don't have. Just a closed door with the hinge oiled so it doesn't scream when you move on. Letting go is not losing. It's choosing who you'll be without the weight. The world looks different when your hands are free enough to carry what actually belongs to you. Take one quiet second. Imagine placing the old story on a shelf that does not wobble. If it tries to follow you, don't argue. Walk. The argument is the leash. If you could set down one thing and walk 20 quiet steps without it, which street would you finally be able to take? 5. Mindfulness equals focused power. Attention is a throttle. Wide open on everything means you stall on the one thing that matters. Seneca said it straight. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. Split attention equals zero presence. Pick one thing and give it your eyes. At the supermarket checkout, I kept my phone in my pocket and gave my eyes to the person in front. I finished one thought. The moment warmed when I actually touched it. Think of Steve Jobs. Years of Zen practice made him ruthless about focus. In crunch moments, he'd pause, take a few quiet breaths, and look at one thing only. That kind of attention is mindfulness with a job to do. Here's the truth, mindfulness isn't slowing down life. It's turning off the fog lights so you can see it. Multitasking sells itself as efficient. In practice, it's attention doing wind sprints and dropping things. You don't need to become a monk to focus. You need to make one thing the only thing for the next slice of time and let the rest wait without apology. I once tried to text, stir a pot, and totally listen at the same time. The soup tasted like notifications. Mindfulness isn't a mood, it's a decision repeated in tiny pieces. One window, not 12. One voice, not 3. One inhale that anchors you back in the room you keep forgetting you asked for. Remember this image. Widen the window, don't chase the horizon. When you really look, ordinary life stops hiding. Which single moment today will get your undivided eyes for 60 honest seconds? 2 parts from now, something different arrives. Stay open. 6. Use silence like a blade. Silence is not empty, it is a container. It keeps your peace from spilling and your words from cutting you. Epictetus, short and sharp, be mostly silent or speak only what is necessary and in few words. Talk less so your words weigh more and your calm stops leaking out. Picture a class reunion. Someone weaponizes an old story with the grin. Still the same, huh? Laughter hovers. The table waits for your spark. You sip water, let the air settle and say, I'm not going there tonight. Then you pivot. How's your daughter? Still into robotics? You didn't lose the moment. You chose it. Silence is not surrender, it is aim. When you stop filling space with explanations, weak claims run out of oxygen. When you stop defending, accusations have nothing to climb. You do not have to prove you are calm. You remove the fuel and calm proves itself. Try it live. First, plant your feet and give yourself one calm beat. Second, name your state silently, Geiger, hurt, heat, so your mouth does not have to do it for you. Third, pick one of 3 moves. Ask a question, set a boundary, or say nothing and let it land. That is how silence becomes a blade you hold by the handle, not the edge. Let's be honest. My most disastrous speeches were the ones I gave to win imaginary awards. The trophies never arrived, the consequences did. Picture this, a sword and a sheath. A good sheath does not mute the blade. It protects it until use is worthy. Your quiet is the sheath. Your words are the steel. Draw them only when they can cut cleanly and end the fight, not start a bigger one. There is dignity in slower replies. Let pauses stand like pillars. If someone baits you with, "So you have nothing to say?" smile and let the question fall. You are not obligated to make every provocation profitable. Ask yourself now, if you remove 30% of your words this week, which conflicts would starve? And how many rooms would feel safer because you chose less sound and more substance? Take one quiet pause. We sharpen next. 7. Love the process, not the prize. Outcomes look shiny because they hide the work behind them. Process does. Epictetus said it clean. No great thing is created suddenly. Strength stacks in repetitions, not in a single round of applause. Our block did a weekend cleanup. 6 people came, not 60. 1 broom had trust issues. We filled 8 bags anyway. The sound of trash liners snapping open, the sweet cut grass smell, the little wave from an old neighbor. Those were the wins. Next week, 12 people showed up. Momentum is shy. Be gentle with it. Worshipping the prize makes you fragile. Loving the process makes you anti-fragile. If your joy depends on the ribbon, joy is on back order. If your joy lives in the daily mechanics, showing up, refining a move, finishing what you start, joy is in stock. Tend the soil, let the harvest be a surprise. If you count only trophies, you'll miss the mornings that made them possible. Laces tied in the dark, a small promise kept when no one was watching, the extra 5 minutes that turned a task into craft. I once wanted a community hero headline. We got a crooked photo on a corkboard and a thank you cookie. It tasted like glory. Here's a rule that never ages. Build a life you'd still respect if the scoreboard went dark. The day the prize delays or disappears, process is what keeps you steady and keeps you improving anyway. Picture this, you're walking a long road at dusk. If you stare only at the far signing, every step feels like failure. If you measure by the sound of your own footsteps and the rhythm of your steps, progress becomes audible. Stop measuring your road by trophies. Measure by footsteps you're proud to leave behind. If the prize disappeared tomorrow, which parts of your routine would you keep because they make you strong? As promised, we stop here for a moment and let a small story arrive. In a hill town by the sea, a traveler walked at night with a small tin lantern. The wind was fierce, so the traveler cupped the flame with a tight fist around the glass. The harder the wind blew, the tighter the hand pressed. The flame shrank, smoked, and almost died. An old ferryman watched and said, "You're not saving the light, you're suffocating it." The traveler loosened the grip, opened the hand a little to make space, and tilted the lantern so the wind slid past the vents instead of straight into them. The flame brightened. The road returned. The wind, once an enemy, became the air the fire needed. That night, the traveler learned, what you guard too tightly, you smother. What you give space, you strengthen. Remember this story, the lantern hand ritual. Anytime a problem, urge to control or conflict appears, close your fist gently for one heartbeat. Feel the tightness. Open your hands slowly, leaving a small gap between each finger. Like vents on a lantern. Tilt your open palms slightly outward. Exhale once and whisper, space first. Step next, take one next good action within your control. Let the outcome breathe. Do this every time you feel yourself forcing. The wind will still blow, but the flame will have air. If the lantern helped, share this with one person who's gripping too hard tonight. 8. Simple joys equals fuel. Complication is expensive. Simplicity pays you back in ways money can't count. Seneca once wrote, "A great person uses earthenware as if it were silver, and silver as if it were earthenware." Joy is not in the price tag, it's in the presence you bring to using the thing. You finally buy premium noise-canceling headphones. They thrill you for 9 days. Then they become furniture for your head. But the walk you take with a friend, no soundtrack, just shoe on pavement in a story that goes somewhere. That's the kind of wealth that keeps paying. I remember on Elena's birthday, my partner now, I'd just flown home and hadn't bought flowers. So I walked to her, hit play on Can't Help Falling in Love, and we danced in the kitchen. She said it was the most memorable gift she had had in years. For the record, I'm a terrible dancer. That's why she laughed so hard. The gift wasn't flowers, it was attention, a song, and a minute we actually felt. Minimal wants equals maximal freedom. When you stop renting happiness from deliveries, ordinary life gets loud enough to hear. The spoon tapping the saucepan, a message that simply says, home. The way daylight pools on the kitchen floor like warm water. Keep one image, a small flame under a big pot. If you chase bigger pots, you'll always feel short on fire. Build the flame. Let small things cook well. No one cries because a package came a day early. People cry over a handwritten letter, even when their name is a little misspelled. If you need proof that simple joys are fuel, watch what happens to your evening when you put your phone in a drawer during dinner. Conversation gets braver. Laughter lands cleaner. Even the silence feels fed. You don't have to become austere. Keep what you love. Just love it on purpose. Wear the good sweater on a Tuesday. Use the nice plates when it's just you and one other human. The myth that special requires an occasion is how we starve our days. Small joys don't make life smaller. They give your big goals a place to rest. What ordinary pleasure will you notice on purpose tonight, and who gets to share it with you? 9. Gratitude recalibrates. Gratitude isn't denial, it's calibration. It doesn't erase pressure, it returns everything to actual size. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, do not set your mind on things you don't possess as if they were yours, but count the blessings you actually possess. Shift the lens to what is here, not what if, and the picture steadies. That day, a box from my mother arrived. Cookies, butter for toast, a hand-knit scarf. Love and gratitude hit at once. I hadn't sent her a gift in months. Today, I was the one receiving. I stood in the doorway and whispered, "Thank you, Mom." No note, no occasion, just care you can hold. Gratitude is attention weight training. Reps make you stronger. You don't have to feel inspired, you have to look on purpose. The brain will offer you a highlight reel of what's missing. Thank it, and then ask it to fetch evidence of what's present. Try this for 90 seconds. For 10 seconds, find something steady. Roof, air, the hum of the fridge. For 10 seconds, find something kind. A message, a held door, someone washing a cup that wasn't theirs. For 10 seconds, find something growing. A skill getting less clumsy, a habit that stuck 3 days in a row, a patience that didn't used to exist. Repeat the 3 once more. Then write one single line you'd miss if it vanished tomorrow. When you practice like this, problems stop shouting and start speaking at a humane volume. You can still fix what needs fixing, now with steadier hands. Keep this image, the dial on an old radio. Gratitude isn't changing the song, it's tuning out the static so you can finally hear it. I've never seen gratitude make a hard day fake. I've seen it make a hard day survivable. And oddly funnier, the way the crooked slice of cake becomes the one everyone wants. The ordinary you ignore is someone else's prayer. Notice it while it's still within reach. Which quiet blessing have you demoted to background noise? And what happens if you turn it up for one honest minute tonight? If these tools help, subscribe so the next one finds you, and hit like if you want more of this kind of calm. 10. Choose solitude like a warrior. Solitude isn't hiding, it's maintenance. It's where you retune yourself so company sounds better. Marcus Aurelius said it best. People seek retreats for themselves, in the country, by the sea, in the mountains. But it is in your own soul that a person finds refuge. You don't have to go far away, you have to go inward. Think of Bill Gates and his Think When Week. He steps away from meetings, disappears with a stack of papers, and reads in silence for long stretches. No buzzing phone, no calendar chase. After hours of quiet, ideas line up and decisions get cleaner. You don't need a cabin. 5 honest minutes alone can do a smaller version of the same reset. Time alone doesn't take you from people, it returns you to them in better condition. If you avoid solitude, you don't avoid loneliness. You outsource it to every crowded moment. Think of quiet as a charging dock you can carry. 5 quiet minutes alone can reboot a day that 3 meetings couldn't fix. No incense required. Just sit, unclench your jaw, and let your shoulders drop the extra inch they've been stealing from your lungs. I once tried to relax by opening 5 tabs about relaxing. The only thing that rested was the refresh button. Solitude also breaks the habit of needing constant approval. When you can be alone without shrinking, you bring less hunger to the table, and hungry people make messy choices. Full people choose better. Picture this, your mind is a violin. Crowds can cheer, but they can't tune. You tune in quiet so the next song doesn't screech. Press harder and life slips. Ease a notch and it returns. That's the thread through all 10 moves. Be here. Give change some room. Aim where it counts. Put the weight down. Guard your attention. Use quiet. Love the work. Feed on small joys. Count what's real. And retune in solitude. And if you remember nothing else, remember this. Force is fragile. A clenched fist breaks before it bends, but presence, patience, and a steady aim can outlast storms, betrayals, and even your own restless heart. Tonight, when the old urge to force shows up, when your chest feels tight, when your hand wants to grab, when your mind demands answers, pause. Open your hand. Take one next good step, no more. That step is your freedom. Tomorrow, give yourself 5 quiet minutes with no phone, no noise, no performance. Let your lungs catch their true rhythm. Then thank one person for something small they do right. A kindness, a gesture, a simple presence. Because gratitude, even whispered, recalibrates the weight of the world. Say this once now as if you're signing a pact with yourself. I do not need more force. I need better aim. And when the lantern of your life tempts you to cover it with a fist, open the vents. Let air in. Let space in. What you grip too tightly becomes a current. What you hold lightly becomes a path. Tight hands break things. Open hands build lives. You are not here to strangle life into submission. You are here to guide it, like a river guided by banks, not by chains. To shape it with presence, not pressure. To let the flame burn brighter because you gave it air, not because you tried to crush the wind. If one line made you lighter, pass it to someone who's trying too hard because they care too much. You may never know it, but your open hand could be the exact space where their burden finally breathes.